Hi, guys. Welcome back. BDTR Saturday Night Live. I know we didn't do one last week. We've been kind of slacking. Honestly, I just didn't feel like talking about the election stuff because I was just pissed. We both were. And, I've been doing this long enough. It's always unfortunately, usually turns out to be the same thing over and over. And then people complain when they don't get a different result. So, because I know the election, everybody's like, what about
Good
the election?
evening.
Whatever. Well, so here's what we're going to start with. We're going to look at some numbers.
And a quick interjection, guys. I'm pretty sick-ish at the moment, so if I don't say much, it's because I sound like shit.
Well, yeah, that was part of the problem Wednesday. My voice is still isn't great, but not that it's ever great, but it was really bad Wednesday to the point where so I didn't figure anybody really wanted to hear that. So
Tis the season, right?
yeah, so let's get down to it. So these are the unofficial results, whatever, and this is we can look at turnout and say, okay, yeah, 34.2%, which honestly, for like an off year election, isn't terrible. Here's the problem. All right. So here's registered voters total. Got 76,800. Okay. That's of all Blair County. So then we go to the Census Bureau website and look at the population estimate. Now, this is for July 2022. I think that was the most recent one I could pull up here. But it's saying 121,000 people in Blair County, give or take. Because keep in mind, we just had a census 3 years ago now. Going on, yeah, we'll just go with 3 years. Close enough. But so here's the thing. When you look at that, so we had 35% of registered voters turn out. But roughly 35% of the county isn't even registered to vote. So when you think about it, you're like, oh, who's really voting in these local elections? And it's not, most people aren't. The vast majority of Blair County did not vote in that election. So whether we look, I mean, we could go through and see like for the city or the county overall, whatever, we could look at that. I'm not going to do that because my point's always been, people need to get out and vote. And you need to vote for, if you don't like how things are, don't keep voting for the same people. Once again, that's what happened with the exception. And I was kind of surprised that Doyle didn't get retained. Now, it was only like 500 votes. It wasn't much.
It was close.
But it just goes to show if you spend enough money, essentially, put up enough signs, you can, sometimes you can get stuff done. So whether or not that'll turn out to be, a net negative or net positive, I don't know. It's going to be a while. We're going to have to wait until we even get anybody appointed, or I guess that whole process, from what I've read, I know they were saying that, oh, we've never had issues with it. Well, there was Shapiro just like blackballed putting somebody into the, I think it was the Superior Court. And I don't know, because there's only about, I think, 2 years left on Doyle's until, or would be next. I guess they replaced it the next election cycle, but I don't know. I think it's going to be a mess. I think there's a good potential that we'll end up being down a judge for a while, which isn't a good thing because the courts are already backlogged and everything. But we're just going to have to wait and see what happens.
Yep.
Guess I should put the collar tag up too, in case.
Wrong one.
Wrong one. But yeah, tell them out of practice. But yeah, so the main takeaway from the election is obviously I think most people weren't too happy with the results that watch this podcast. But another thing that was kind of crazy to me that I didn't think would happen was Reeder actually won in Huntington. And I think they had even like slightly lower turnout, probably closer to 30%. But there again, he's the guy on the ballot, and it just goes to show how hard it is to run a write-in campaign no matter what. And I think part of the problem is too, the DOC letter or the memorandum, whatever you want to call it, that come out. I think that was pretty damning. But the problem is a lot of people in Huntington County probably have never ever looked at Facebook. A lot of the older folks
Yeah.
Probably never look at Facebook.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of good information on there. But I think you have that problem in Blair County too, is just trying to get the information out to everybody can be very difficult, especially when it's coming in at the last minute. And that's how a lot of that kind of stuff is. Doesn't mean it's not
100%
relevant.
right. Douchebag reader. All he's going to do is hurt Huntington County.
Yeah. I mean, I know there's some stuff in the works to find a way to get him out of there, but it's,
Every second he's in there is just damning and damaging.
well, he hasn't been sworn. He won't be sworn in yet till the beginning of the year, but we'll have to
Oh,
wait and see
yuck.
what happens between. I mean, I don't know, depending on if an investigation. Because as far as I'm aware, there's several investigations, which doesn't mean it'll lead to anything. But if it does, it
Get him the hell out.
and then it throws the county into a special election, I guess, from what I was talking to George, and that's going to cost money and be unfortunate that it happened that way. But it is what it is.
Another thing that irritated me about the mentality, because like I spoke to my dad right before the election, and his whole reasoning was he's like, well, if people are dumb enough to vote for him, then they deserve having to go through a whole new election thing for it. We deserve it if we're dumb enough to do that. But then he's also like, well, I just vote straight Republican. I don't care who's around. I just check for sure. It's like, what the hell, dude? And like I get it. He's older, and it really kind of gave me an idea of like, holy shit, how many other people are thinking like you right now?
Well,
In anywhere, in any capacity, it's like you're mad at it, but then you say you deserve it, but then you don't want to do research to fix it, but then you're mad at it. It's like, oh,
and that
Dad, I love you, but God.
that was the other thing too, with not just like I said, the write-in campaign, obviously an uphill battle, but also on the Altoona corruption page, there was somebody that commented on probably one of the post-election posts that we made, and they said something to along the lines when Pacifico won, it's like, well, at least he's a Republican, and
Yeah.
it's like, all right, man, like you know what? Some days I just want to like give up, but like you know what? You get what you fucking deserve, because that's how I feel about a lot of
And
this
that's
stuff.
that's a whole reason I didn't originally come onto the podcast, and I've stayed away from politics because it's like the whole concept in my mind is you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You can literally lay out the information, black and white, bright letters, billboard, however they need to present it, but you can't force people to change their mentality. Not that we want to, but like it's infuriating that when you put good information out there, nobody wants to hear it. But you put out some drama bullshit and all of a sudden everybody's
Oh
about
yeah,
it.
it's
Just
like you're always got to chase the algorithm. Like if I make,
I don't want to chase it. I want to make shit that makes me happy.
if I well, and
Pardon me.
that's actually like relevant and is useful information. Whereas like the drama stuff just doesn't. It just gets old. It
It's
really
fun for a
does.
minute, but then yeah, you just gotta let it go.
If you got somebody that's going to double down on stupid, yeah, you can entertain it for a while, but it gets to a point where it's just like, okay, so like,
Anything else happening?
yeah.
What's
I
up?
mean, we've been talking about doing like maybe some like camping videos, like basic prepping kind of stuff. Because like when I started the podcast, that was my whole like the better dead than red thing was basically I was going to talk about more than anything being self sufficient from the government because I think everybody knows by now whether it's calling 911 or there's a natural disaster or whatever it is, like if you don't have your ducks in a row to keep yourself alive, like you better not expect the government to come do it for you because they're going to let you down every time.
And honestly, if nothing else, like fun fact, I love camping. And I didn't realize it till about middle school that I was a freaking unicorn. But my family growing up, we went camping every summer. From, being in an actual cabin to in the tent to, a camper. Like we explored all the ranges of camping. I love it. I freaking love it. And I would love to share it with our daughter, which is why, after a short discussion, I hopped on Walmart and was like, hey, look, a tent. Hey, babe, there's going to be a tent here Saturday. I hope you weren't kidding because we're camping in the backyard this winter.
Yeah, which I was fine with. So
I know.
that's one of the benefits of living out in the middle of nowhere is you can go camping on the edge of the property and you
Hey,
don't
Mom.
you don't have to drive anywhere or pay a lot fee or whatever else they make you do now.
And not only that,
Get
especially
sucked
as
into a timeshare, like one of the worst things that could happen to you in the last 30 years.
and not only that, like especially as young as our daughter is, and the fact that we haven't really experienced camping or with her or explored that with her yet. there's going to be a lot of, nervousness, and being in the backyard will be nice. If she does get really freaked out, that we can bring her in. If she has to pee, we can bring her in and, use an actual toilet. Because I'm sorry, one thing I hated about camping was the freaking outhouses. Like, I would rather go squat in the woods than go to one of those outhouses. Those things scared the crap out of me, quite literally. So, like, it's just
Yeah, so
nice.
life hack, guys, if it's easier, just 5-gallon bucket trash bag. Too easy.
Yeah. And you can actually, if you're creative, mount a toilet seat to it like my dad did for hunting season.
Yeah, you can. I mean, you can do it. You can make it as fancy as you want, but
I mean, dad was hunting with a bunch of women at the time, so like he had no choice. His mom, my mom, me, like we were picky, so he went the extra mile and put the seat on the bucket
yeah,
for us. Okay.
I can imagine that. Okay, so next like mini topic here. You guys have probably noticed
See, mom even agreed. She knows.
in the past couple of years here, or past couple of years, Jesus, past couple of days, there's been some interesting things. Like I posted somehow, the finance director job at the Blair County Action Committee or program or whatever they're calling it now. It came up on Indeed. They were looking for a new finance manager, which was weird because we all thought Renee was going back to work, right?
Thought she was on a vacation,
And
was it?
yeah, maybe they just extended it a little longer, and it gets interesting. This is in the paper today, so anybody, I think I posted the link on the corruption page if anybody's interested. Oh, and before I forget, we're still doing the backpack thing. It should still be. Is it in? Is it in the pinned
It,
comments?
it is. It was one of the first pinned comments. And hello,
Okay.
Mr. Scott.
All right. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that was still on there because we got accused of because we put some allegations out there that you guys are trying to ruin the program, which was never the case.
Yeah.
So let me find it here because there's a very interesting wording the way they. Where is it?
While you look for that, I want to ask the audience if anybody knows if whether it be, a local thing or a nationwide thing, if anyone knows of any kind of program that accepts gently used toys, clothes, bedding of any kind, like just gently used kid stuff, not Goodwill. I want it to go to a program that will directly put it in the hands of kids. Because our daughter, with Christmas coming up, has a ton of bags of stuff that she is completely okay with donating and wants to see to go to other kids. So I'm trying to do some research, but I'm not really sure where to start. If anyone in the comments can let me know if you know of any kind of program, even if it's something that's local to PA that I can reach out to, they might know other people. Just wanted to leave that out there because I'm kind of lost right now where the hell to take this stuff.
All right, so here it is. So the apparently the executive director is leaving after the finance manager already left. And in this article here, they give the little whatever. Because keep in mind, guys, just to anybody that remembers the Stephanie Trude, Dickie's Barbecue, 12/11 debacle. Remember the nice little fluff piece that went in the mirror about, oh, we're so happy to hand the business off to Steph. And then Mary Colombo suing her for like, what was it, 10, 15 grand or something? And that got posted, and Steph like flipped out and was threatening to sue everybody and everything because it was true. So imagine that. And that's one thing I've noticed is when you get like vehement pushback, a lot of times it's the source might not be 100%, but there's definitely something there that they don't want getting out.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I still don't know what went down. They don't want to talk about it. We'll probably never know unless somebody else comes forward with more information, which could happen. But so they give this Christine Zernick, who's the executive director, says Zernick wanted to return to her social work roots with direct service to mental health clients. So, I mean, whatever, like she wants to do that, that's fine. She gave proper notice, was not under pressure to leave. Okay. Keep that in mind. The board expressed its thankfulness for the year she put in. They declined to specify why the finance director recently left, saying it was a human resources matter. So I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. But
It means they just
apparently
want us
there
all
was an
quiet.
issue with human resources with the finance director. I don't know. Anybody want to call in and elaborate? Tim Baker will get on there. Oh, he's saying, if they don't call in, then they're blah, blah. Like I don't think I've ever really disparaged anybody for not calling in other than like Paul and Crazy Chris.
Yeah.
Just because like they'll talk so much shit, but they won't call in. Like I don't care if, and honestly, like we haven't gotten a ton of calls lately, and that's the problem too. Because I noticed when we were doing, pretty consistent every Saturday, Wednesday, we're competing with football and everything else now, so that's the numbers are down a little bit from that too. But it just, and that's what drives me nuts about the social media shit is like you almost have to be a slave to the algorithm to keep getting out there or getting exposure or whatever, and I'm just tired of it.
Well, that's something I even noticed. Like when I was consistent with the TikTok thing, trying to post like 3 times a day, like if I did that, yeah, I was getting a couple thousand views on my stuff. It was doing well. But if I took a single day off, or if I
Hmm.
only posted like one video for some reason, boom, huge dive. And I didn't change any of the hashtags, didn't change any of the content, anything. And it's when I was like, screw this. Like, I'm not trying to waste my life making TikToks. Like, they're fun to make a couple of them. And, like, yeah, it's nice to get feedback because, like, I was actually getting people like, hey, I like this or I don't like this. Like, that was great. But then when it just welled up to, like, views and likes, I don't give a shit about that. I want feedback.
Yeah.
Talk to me. And then when I realized that, like, if I don't consistently do what their algorithm wants or they're just going to hide me, I don't really post anymore because I really don't care. Like, it's
Yeah.
not worth it for me. Like it's for me, it was about having fun, not the numbers. And now it's not fun, so I'm not
Well,
going
and
to
I
do it.
think part of it too, a lot of people, certain shows were anticipated by certain groups of people because of the guests we had on and stuff.
Yeah,
Which I mean, we've had great guests on here. I think we've had some really good interviews. Um, I think especially for the live show, I'd like to try to get back to that. Um, but as far as like just trying to push out content every Wednesday and every Saturday, like if there's really nothing going on, then we're just not going to do a show. And that's
that
just
is that is crazy.
it's just how it's going to be.
That is absolutely crazy. And you shouldn't have to post daily. Like and like we were just saying, like you shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to wrap your entire life around your social media presence. Like you have a life. Without having your life, you can't post about stuff would be my theory. But apparently they want you to fabricate everything and just like, hi, I'm constantly doing this on
Well,
the
and that's just
phone.
so like I mean, you guys know when I'm working, I'm on the road all day. So a lot of times I'll either have a podcast up or sometimes I'll just play YouTube and like obviously I can't watch videos while I'm driving, but I just listen to it as like a podcast. And a lot of these like documentaries about some of these YouTubers that have come up in controversy, like I just listen to it because some of it's hilarious. Like the way people just they get a little bit of fame and a little bit of money and just lose their shit. But just the way even whether it's YouTube, because it's all the same. Like these companies want you to the way the algorithm works, they want you to hit this spot, this spot, this spot, and it keeps changing. So every once in a while, whatever your normal content is might hit the algorithm, but sooner or later it's going to fall out of favor. So then you're the one because you guys might even notice if you have for us like Mindseed TV,
Yeah.
they just like totally tried. These guys mostly did like the ghost hunting stuff. I don't know if anybody's familiar with them, but they were really good videos.
Yeah.
And then they start doing like all kinds of like weird like reviews of stuff and just like it was completely off the. I mean, because even on this channel, like we still got a little bit of leeway because we're all over the place. These guys were like dead set on the ghost hunting thing for like 5 or 6 years, I
And then
think.
not even like not even like a hey guys, we're gonna take a break from this and do something else for a little while we look for more stuff. Nothing. It was just like boom, all this like weird, completely different content. And like if
Eh,
we knew it was coming, that'd be one thing. But
yeah.
like, but then that's constant. And then there's this ever sprinkle every now and then. Okay, we might do this again just to
Well,
keep
and
people holding on.
the worst thing was so about a month before Halloween, they start re-uploading all their old
Yeah.
videos. So it looks like, oh, new video from Mindseed, like 45 minutes. It's a video you saw 3 years because we're like, I think we've seen this. And then the next night, same thing, same
Yeah.
thing. And it's not like they even tell you it's like,
They present it with like a whole new opening, a whole new soundtrack, but then
yeah.
nothing else is really different. Like the audio quality isn't better, the video quality isn't better. They haven't like added any new like observations like, hey, after rewatching this, we noticed now this, this, and this. Because that'd be one thing, but like they're just rehashing it like, oh, we just did this. No, you didn't.
Now I know if like crazy's out there and wants to come out of the woodwork for, well, you guys repost videos No, crazy Chris. I shared a link to the interview we did with your sister the day the page came back up because I knew you would see it and I knew it would piss you off. And guess what happened? I was right. But
Oh my
it's
god.
it's just it's wild, and that's what I don't want to have happen. I want any content that comes out here to at least be somewhat useful, and I feel like the because it's so easy to get stuck on politics and stuff because there's so many people that
But like Central Pet Hunters has said, they don't do it for the money. And it is really sad that their views are down because they're not getting daily. But that's the thing with us. We're not doing this for the
yeah,
money. We're doing this just to put out information. Whether it be
we're
the
not making any
political.
money, and
No.
that's the thing is I have no interest in monetizing anything
No.
because then you kind of become that like slave
Slave.
to the algorithm, and I'm not doing it. You guys might have noticed, like I'm pretty anti-establishment right now, so the last thing I'm gonna do is be a slave to Facebook or YouTube. Like it's
We
not
want to
gonna
put out what
happen.
we want to put out there without somebody micromanaging and saying that we can't.
Yeah, and I really feel like we need to, because like I said, when I started the channel, my intention wasn't just to go into like local politics and kind of fixate on that. Now I know that's kind of where it got stuck, just because there is so much there,
Hmm.
and because of being on you posted on the corruption page, and that's most of the feedback you're going to get from people that are like, yeah, this is how Blair County fucked me over. Because I mean, how many stories are there? Everybody has a story or knows somebody who does, and then I'm not downplaying any of that.
Oh.
But my point is in the, I'd say 10 to really 15 years that I've been closely paying attention to local politics, the amount of like change is just non-existent. And I'd say like the 5 or 6 years that I've been really actively involved in trying to push, vote for somebody different, if nothing else, get rid of the people that are in there, just try something different. And it really doesn't work that much. And the one exception to that was Amy Webster, who I was against from the start. And, I guess some people think she does a good job. I don't think she does. Once again, nothing against her as a person. I don't know how many times I have to say that, but I don't know. It's just, I feel like if we just keep going politics, 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 we're selling ourselves short and we're selling the audience short. Because I know there's a lot of other, like even just the basic prepping kind of stuff. And honestly, guys, like if you aren't, have some like get a Sam's Club membership. Like
Yeah.
unless you're a single guy that lives by yourself and eats out every day, which number one, quit doing that. Don't eat out every day.
Your palate will thank you.
And that food's just terrible for you. Like if you don't believe me, there's a documentary called Super Size Me. Like
Oh
that
my god, we
that
had to
shit's
watch that in middle school, and if y'all are too
yeah.
young to have watched that,
But anyway,
go look at it.
get a Sam's Club membership because you can get, it's 40, 16 point, what are they, like 16.9 ounces? It's some weird, we'll just say 16-ounce bottle, 40, 16-ounce bottles for like $4.50, I think. Rough. Now, it may be a little bit more dependent on your exact Sam's Club you go to. It might be less. I don't know. But we've just been, every time we go, we just
I'm
grab,
gonna actually pull it up on the Sam's Club thing here real quick.
we just grab like an extra 2 40 packs of water. And we've just been putting them back so we have them. You can get a bag. I think it's a 25-pound bag of
Yes.
rice there for,
I'm looking it up now. Hold on.
I'm going to say like $12. It used to be 10, but you know how inflation is. But start getting some kind of preparedness as far as food and water goes, because that's like the basics.
You're right on the money almost on
yeah.
that. You're
Well,
so good.
It's
Well, again, it's
$12.98,
depending where
so
you're
it's
at.
$13. But
But that's 25 pounds of rice.
yeah,
It's a lot of
and,
damn
I mean, you can
rice.
do rice, you can do beans. There's all kinds of stuff, and the dry stuff is great because I mean, you can just, honestly, the best way to do it. We haven't gotten enough, but if you get like a food grade 5-gallon bucket, you can just dump all your rice and have a 5-gallon bucket full of rice. Put the top on that way. If you got, at some point down here, we almost always have a mouse decides to come in. You have it in the bucket, you don't have to worry about them getting into it. So it's just a good thing to do. Keep your water out of the sunlight. Keep it in a
Yes.
dark room.
Yes.
You don't want to leave plastic bottles out in the sunlight.
No, my older brother used to work at a plastic factory, and he told me some really crazy horror stories after like a couple hours in the car. And like I was a kid, but I still remember that shit, and it
Ideally, if you
traumatized
if you
me.
have a better way to store water than in plastic bottles or drums, that's the way to go. I just know it's not super easy to do, and not it can be done, but it's you basically got to use glass is what it comes
Yes.
down to, and that's
Which
not the most feasible thing in the world
I want
because
to look into
you
this.
can live for about 3 days without water, and it'll usually take the forever chemicals longer to kill you than that. So
Yeah. And I want to look into it, but I read something somewhere. And again, I'm not saying this is true. Do not say this is true. I need to look into it. But I could have swore I read somewhere somebody said that a way to purify water, if you have like nothing on you, is to put it in a like perfectly clean glass container and put it in the sun for at least like 5 to 8 hours. That's something about the sun in the glass will help actually kill everything in it.
well, I
But
think
ideally, you're supposed to boil it because there's way you have to kill the bacteria, but then you have to kill like the viruses. There's like two different things you have to kill, and depending what process you put it through, might not kill everything. It might kill one, but not the other.
yeah, generally the best thing to do is have some kind of filter it, and then boil it,
Yeah.
and you're usually good. Now you can just use the purification tablets. They're not no, there are different purification tablets too.
Yeah.
I just recently like started doing a deep dive on those, and we have some now. I think the trying to remember what those ones were that I got. They're not the iodine ones. They're the other kind. Some sodium something I think was the main ingredient.
Mm.
But basically, any you want to purify all your water that you're just pulling out of a random source,
Yeah.
but you want to, if you can, get it from a source that's somewhat like you don't want to like pull it out of a mud puddle or a muddy
But if
stream.
you have to pull it out of some kind of stagnant kind of water, it's always recommended if that's your only option, go as far into the middle as you can to collect the water and then clean it from there because something about the middle section of that dirty water will be as a little less dirty apparently and easier to clean. Still clean it. Still
It
purify it. Don't
well,
drink it.
if it's really bad, I mean, you can even just filter it through a t-shirt or something to get the big chunks out. This and that'll
Yeah.
get a lot of the sediment and stuff out. And then you can throw because I think if you're using the iodine tablets, you just like double the amount you're using or whatever. But
Moving water is good. The faster it's moving, the more often it's moving, and constant it's moving, the better.
and the best thing to do is just have water stockpiled so you have it. Because here's the thing, guys, like and a lot of times when you use, prepping or whatever, and everybody acts like it's just for the end of the world scenario, which, you know, World War III and, full hot nuclear Armageddon could kick off at any time the way the world is today.
But
But
even on a lighter note, you get a really bad snow or ice storm and you can't get
anything,
out.
yeah,
Anything. It
anything.
floods. Freaking earthquake or tornado. God only knows at this point what the hell's
And
on the bingo card for next year.
well, and depending on, like something crazy would happen with gas prices and suddenly the supply chain gets hit again. It's not unreasonable that, the grocery store is going to be out of a lot of stuff. And let me tell you something, when you have desperate people that go to the grocery store and there's not much there, you're going to see how quickly people go back to their
Yeah.
basic instincts. Like, it's not a good situation. So, if you can be prepared ahead of time, and something as simple as like a crazy snowstorm could make that happen.
And that's where that's why we're saying too, like, you don't have to like stockpile at once to be like a prepper, like little things. Once a month. You spend the extra $20 on a thing of water and a thing of rice. Oh my god, I can't even tell you how
Yeah,
many
and
bags of
and,
rice we
and
have over
don't
there.
don't go on some website for all their like freeze
No.
dried food and spend like
No.
$500 that you can't afford to have your survival. You don't need to do that.
Exactly. Exactly what Central Pet Hunters just said.
Yeah, and
Oh Jesus! Sorry, there's a big ass spider that just ran past. That's one thing I don't fuck with is spiders.
he's still back there.
Oh yeah, give me a weapon.
Jesus.
Maddie, what the hell? You're supposed to be the spider killer. What are you doing right now?
Just shoo it. It'll probably get back
What do you mean
under the
shoo it?
thing.
I don't want it to shoo and disappear where I'm gonna have to kill the son of a bitch later. Give me a weapon. Oh,
I can't reach it.
I know. Do you have a shoe one? Or
Yeah,
sandal?
I do.
Well, give me your sandal then.
Well, I have it on. Like, how about I just smash it?
Excuse us.
Brief intermission.
Fuck out of here.
It's gonna fucking
I
run.
don't care.
Yeah, it's already back behind the fucking.
Get up. Yeah, you did. That'll be the one thing that takes me out before anything, guys. It's a damn spiders. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we store all this food up, and that's going to be the end of us is when the spider comes out.
Shoot it, Miss Deb. If I had a gun, I would have. My father, I'll tell that story another time. My father actually has shot a spider. 100% true story. He definitely shot a spider.
Yeah, now the dog's over here like, hey, Dad, what's
Yeah.
up?
Yeah, we should just put Swift on. That would have worked.
Yeah,
Thank you, everyone, for understanding. Sorry about that.
yeah, I think Taylor Swift makes everybody want to unalive themselves, especially when you see the ticket prices.
Yes, and I'll kill her again.
Yeah.
Sorry, unalive. I'm gonna get us banned off freaking Facebook. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but like, and that's the thing too. Like, even if you don't have a Sam's Club membership or whatever, wherever you go grocery shopping, if there's dry stuff that you can store for a long time that's on sale. I mean, I know when I used to shop at Giant Eagle, I always just bought that was my shopping list was whatever was on sale that week.
Yep.
But that's another way you can do it. So
Get evaporated milk, get powdered milk, because, even if you don't like milk, it's, an additive for different things. Makes milk's nice. There's 1,000 ways, and like we were saying, you don't have to go broke all at once. Just here and there, grab a couple extra cans of stuff or things that, will last a while and just kind of set it back for a rainy day. Hopefully, we'll never need it. But if you need it, it's better to have it,
Well, and that's the thing. Once you start piling stuff up, you can start rotating it out too, just as regular. Grab a bottle of water or make we eat rice all the time, so
Get a rice cooker.
yeah, we cycle through our stash fairly regularly.
Yes, we do. I have found many of ways to have rice.
Yeah, so I think we pretty much covered everything for tonight.
If anyone wants to call in or
Everybody
something.
wants to call now or forever hold your pieces.
Honestly, I 100% recommend the Sam's membership if you can make it work, because I love it, especially with the scan and go, especially since when we go where it's him, myself, and our little one. It's so much easier just to scan the stuff, get to it,
Yep.
swipe to pay, run to the front of the line, have him scan it, and out the door, rather than have to.
I don't think
offload
we
the
told
cart, unload
anybody
the
about
cart.
the Karen.
You can tell them.
So this was actually our last Sam's trip, which was what two? Did that? I think that happened right the Saturday, like right before the election.
Yes.
I think it was, or Sunday.
Yeah. Right before the beginning of the month.
Was it Sunday? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we all know what season we're heading into, where everybody's out shopping for a bunch of shit they don't need, and it's just kind of nuts anyway. So we get to see it. Like, we go through, and like she said, we do the scan and go thing, which I highly recommend. Makes it so much easier. And literally, you just check out on your phone, and you just go up and they, scan the 3 items, or I guess it's 3 items usually. Well, we get up to the store, and now keep in mind, like, we're paid and everything, so we don't have to check out. And the way the lines work at Sam's Club, like the registers, like you just kind of zip her in, right? Well, the line's like back around the back, whatever. So I just go up through one of the stalls that's empty and just like zip her in. And this, like I swear to God, like stereotype, like Karen, and she's wearing sunglasses inside. So like I don't know if she was just hungover or what the fuck was going on.
I do that on the podcast sometimes, but it's literally a joke.
Yeah, it's for like funny, haha. Hers was like, well, so like we're going to zip her in. She just keeps like pushing her cart up to the point where there's a lady in front of us that has a wheelchair. She just like slams into her, and she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I looked at her like, what, like what the fuck? So then we're going up or whatever, and she's like, oh, are you serious right now? And I'm like, what? Because I'm like, I didn't feel like I was doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, the start of the line's back there. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, the start of the line? I was like, there's a line here. I'm like, we already paid. Like, we went through the checkout. We didn't have to check out. We walked through the checkout because we're already checked out and get in line. And she just kind of starts like trying to fucking hissy fit and says, because that's what she said.
Yeah, she starts throwing a fit. Yeah, are you serious? And then
and I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking serious. Like,
but like you didn't say it loud. That was the thing. Like, this man is loud, but like in that instance, like you just kind of like you said it at a normal tone because there's a ton of people around, and you knew that, but like you said it in a normal
Well,
tone.
you could just
But the
tell
minute you
this
said it, oh
lady
my
was
god,
a
this woman acted like you burned her. She
yeah.
and she's like, "How dare you swear in front of your daughter?" And then like
Yeah.
looks at me all pointedly, and I like lean forward, I'm like, "How dare you cause a scene that he has to talk to you that way?" And she just like, and then you like look at her again, and you're like, honestly, I'm surprised she hasn't told you to go fuck yourself yet.
Well, and there was like some old guy behind her. He's like, just let it go. Just let it go. And it was kind of funny, though.
But then we get up front, and this poor man, they only have one guy, and like there's this huge line. There's one guy
Well,
who's doing
that
the
was the
scanning.
problem. They only had
Exactly.
one guy at the thing. So it's all back. Like I said, it's the beginning of crazy shopping season. So everybody's in there.
We
And
get
so
up.
I get up and she, she's like right behind us. So I go to the guy. I was like, you better watch out for that Karen back there, man. She bites. And he's like trying so hard not to just lose it. So we get out to the lot, and we get everything because we didn't buy a ton of stuff, but everything we buy is generally like pretty bulky. So we get
Yeah.
everything because we actually brought the SUV just so we can make sure we fit everything.
Mhm.
And because we're hoping we're not going to have to go back until after the new year when all the Christmas crazy bullshit's done with. Which, I don't hate Christmas. I hate commercial Christmas. And you guys probably know what I mean because, Jesus is the reason for the season, not fucking corporations trying to make money.
Bingo.
So I guess that was my like overturn the table in the temple moment. But like that meme I posted the other day. So anyway, we get everything offloaded and she's taking the cart over. Well, here comes Karen. Karen literally like runs up like, oh man, I still just congested enough to be annoying. So Karen like runs up, like throws her cart in the thing and like runs away.
Now keep in mind, I know that I'm almost 6 foot tall, and after that display that I'm looking mean as hell, but like I'm actually looking girly for once. Like I'm in a skirt, I've got a nice blouse, I've
Yeah.
got these cute little boots on. Like I walked in there feeling like a proper lady on a Sunday, and like this freaking Karen running for the hills, and like all I can think, and like I just can't help myself as she's running away. I was like, good to know I can make Karens run away in any situation. And like she was old enough to know better. Definitely old enough to know better, but still acting like like she's a freaking teenager in high school wearing, and I'm not bashing anyone's style, but when you act a certain way and then you dress a certain way with it, then I'm gonna call the two together.
Yeah.
She's wearing
When you
leggings and freaking Ugg boots
hugs.
and like a crop top shirt that doesn't fit her right. All she bought was 3 things of strawberries and like a slice of ham.
Yeah. It
Why
was
the
like,
hell you
why the
even at
hell did
Sam's
you go to
Club?
Sam's
With
Club
these
for that?
freaking
Yeah.
huge ass sunglasses on inside and like the messy, but like she looked straight out like some 2000 high school shit, like a girl who spent way too long in the morning in the bathroom. Like, I'm sorry, ladies, we know we all did it, except for me. I was anti makeup, but like, not bashing, but y'all did it. But like, she was definitely like older than me, even. I'm like, how you gonna dress like that and then act like a child?
Yeah.
Oh my god! Like, and you thought, and like, she totally thought she was in the right. She was totally looking around, waiting for someone to back her up, and like, all I could think is like, oh, a real life Karen. I see about videos all the time, but I haven't met one in person yet. Oh my god!
That poor guy scanning people to leave though. Like she
Yeah.
probably didn't say a fucking word to him because like
Probably. I wish it was the guy that's usually checking us out, the bigger dude who's always, because like every
yeah.
time we're in there, like this man is like a giant. He's like easily like probably 6'5", like brick of a man, but super gentle, super nice. Like I went in there once with Katora just to get food, and on the way out, he's like squaring up with her, and he's like, "I know you got candy hidden in your back pocket. There's no way you ain't came in here for pizza. I see it all over your face." Like he's a gem, honestly. He's a gem, and I was kind of sad he wasn't there because I totally know he would have fed into that situation. He's probably hearing about it from everybody. Like, damn it, that's one day I wasn't working.
That's funny. All right, so yeah, I think that's all we get. Is that's another thing we had talked about. We're probably going to try to keep it more to like a 35, 40-minute show and just like boom, boom, boom. Try to have a specific topic to go on. Because I know like it's fun to just kind of have conversations and drone on, but I think sometimes too that loses a lot of like new viewers that would come in and they'll be like, oh, they're just, stick to, which I don't care about sticking to the topic 100% of the time. But I think if we're just a little bit more pre-planning maybe than just like winging it, it might go a little better too. So
We'll try.
we'll see what happens.
Maybe we'll make Wednesday night our wing it night.
Yeah, or we'll
if we go Wednesdays.
like I said, we'll see what happens. We'll plan on doing a Wednesday show this week because that's the night before Thanksgiving. So
Yes.
so
And I'll
yeah,
be
we'll see.
stressing the hell out.
Yeah, because I think I'm off work for Thanksgiving, but I don't actually know. So
You better be. I got a big ass turkey waiting for you.
well, I'm the one frying the turkey.
I
so
know. That's what I meant. It's waiting
if
for
I'm
you.
not here, you're in trouble. So
That's what I'm saying. All right, guys. Until next time.
yeah.